Hello everyone, in this video we're going to look at how to integrate Firebase into our application. Now before we do that, there's one thing I want to add. So in registration screen and login screen, we want to wrap the scaffold widget with a keyboard dismisser widget. So I'll say wrap with widget and then say keyboard dismisser. Now what this does is that when we click on one of the inputs and then the keyboard pops up, you can click anywhere to dismiss it. Now, I just want to point out that when we added this, it added this package at the top, which is one of the third-party libraries that we added at the beginning. Now let's go to login screen and then do the same thing. So I'll wrap the scaffold widget with a keyboard dismisser widget. Now let's look at initializing Firebase. So we need to go to main.dart, and then at the top here, first we'll call widgets flutter binding.ensure initialize, which is similar to what we did in the previous project. And then we need to call firebase.initialize app. So do firebase.initialize app. Now for that, we need to import the Firebase package. So we'll say quick fix and then import package. And then this function is asynchronous. So we'll say await and then make this function async. And then here we'll just add future with the type void. Next step, let's look at registration. So let's look at the sign up screen. So when we click on sign up, we need some action to happen. So we'll go to the registration screen. And then at the top here, we will add a handle sign up handler. So this one will be async as well. So we'll say future of type void. That will be called underscore handle sign up. And it will take in a build context, which we're going to look at why in a bit, and then make it asynchronous. Now basically we need to call this whenever we click on the sign up button. So we'll go down, and then here where it says sign up, in the onPressed handler, we'll just call underscore handle sign up and then pass in the context. Now we cannot do this directly like that, because we need to pass in a function. If we pass in this, we're essentially calling the function. So that's why we need to wrap this with an anonymous function. So let's go back to the sign up handler. So the first thing that we need to do when we click on this is we need to validate that the inputs are correct. So in order to do that, we'll use the form key. So we can check if underscore form key dot current state. First we need to check that it's not equals to null, and then check the form key dot current state dot validate. So what this will do is we'll run all the validators, these ones right here, for every text field, and then if an issue occurred, it will not go inside of this block. So let's actually test this. So if I click sign up right now, you can see that the input has been validated, and because there is no data, it shows these error messages. So invalid input and field must have at least 6 characters. So what happens if the data is valid? So we're going to wrap it in a try catch block, and if an error does occur, we will use the show OK alert dialog, and then we'll give it a title, an error occurred, and then the message will be please try again. So let's see what happens if we call this. So in the try block, we're just going to add throw and then error. So let's see what happens, and then I'll comment this for now, and then we'll click on sign up. So you can see the what the show OK alert dialog looks like. So you have the title, which is an error occurred, and then you have the message please try again. Maybe here we should make the title capitalized, so an error occurred. Now let's bring this back and remove the throw error. Now we need to use the Firebase Auth package in order to sign up the user with their email and password. So for that, at the top here, we're going to create a new variable and then call it underscore auth. and then we'll point to the Firebase auth.instance. And we need to import this package. So we'll say quick fix and then import library. Now here we will call _auth.create user with email and password. And then for the email, we'll use the data from the email controller. So we're going to say _email controller.text.trim. And then for the password, we'll use the same thing. So password controller.text. But for this, we're not going to use trim because maybe the user's password does include a spacebar. Now there's a few things here. So this is async, so we have to add an await keyword at the beginning. And then let's also store the data that comes back. So we're going to say final, and then credential, and then we call await, and then this. So what this returns, so it returns a user credential, and then this will give us access to the user information. So let's save that and refresh this to get rid of this error. Now let's go to the sign up screen. And then let's look what happens when the data comes back. So the credential or the user credential object that comes back gives us access to a user object. So here we can check if credential.user is not equals to null. So if there is a user, which means that this has passed successfully, we need to do a few things. So first, we do have access to the username. And if you notice, we only use the email controller and the password controller. We didn't use the name controller. Now, the reason why we have a name controller is because in the chat, we don't want the user's email to be displayed publicly. We only want their name to appear. So like, for example, we'll have Mohammed and then writes a message, Tyler writes a message, and so on. So first step, we need to add the user's name to their account. So to do that, we'll say await credential.user.update display name, and then we'll pass in the name controller.text.trim. Now, if that passed successfully, we're going to call await credential.user.send email verification. So this will make sure that the user can only sign up with a valid email address. And then after that, we're going to say await show OK alert dialog, and then the title will be email sent, and the message will be please verify your email. So essentially what we're doing here is that the user will type their name, email, and then password, and then click sign up. And then we're going to make sure that all this data is valid, and then we're going to sign them up. So we're going to create a user with email and password. This will pass in through Firebase, and then the data that comes back is credential, and then we're going to see if the user is available to us. This means that this has passed successfully and we can actually move forward. And then first thing we do is we update their display name, so this will be available to us in the future in the user object. And then we send them an email verification. So we want to make sure that people don't sign up with fake emails and things like that. So this will send them an email, and then using the email they will verify. And then this will pop up just similar to what we showed here, and this will let them know that, hey, they should go and verify their account. Now when you call create user with email and password, there is an auth state that's available to us globally in our application using Firebase Auth. Now at this point in time, the user still has not verified their account, so we don't want to keep the user's data available to us globally right now. So in order to get rid of it, we'll just call await _auth.signout. Now I'll talk in a bit why we actually need to do this, but this will make sense once we add something else in the future. Now after this is all done, we're going to call navigator.pop and then pass in the context. So this is why we passed in context at the top here. So when we call navigator.pop, we can pass in the context, Same thing with the show OK dialog and the show alert dialog here. So these need the context, so that's why we passed it in. So let's test this out. So here I'll say Mohammed, then I'll write my email, then I'll write a password, and then click on sign up. So here it says email sent, please verify your email. Now here I have my email account opened, and you can see we got this email. It says, hello Mohammed, follow this link to verify your email address. And it says your email has been verified. Now if you also check Firebase, and then we refresh this, we'll see that in authentication, there is a new email that was added.